what Easter is about. Have a wonderful celebration. We're back after now for another topic. Stay with us. Okay, so it's time to play football.
No, we're not playing football. We're raising money for football.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Is that, you know, when you say you raise money, it's like you're in church, you want to offering time.
Tithe. It's tithe, so that we can play football. Sometimes I think this boy actually laces his cocoa.
Oh, you know, my Omo lady.
We're talking the football fund. The Nigerian Football Fund, TNFF, is an open-ended SEC-registered unit trust / mutual fund with an initial public offering to raise 5 billion through the issuance of 5 billion units of ₦1 per unit. Now, what does all that mean? It just means they want to raise money to help in the football, should I call it industry?
Football economy.
Football economy, yes.
I'm sure you've not heard that before.
Make that a whole business on its own, so that football management, playing football, is not just decorative business. It's a business.
Yes, not just playing sets under the bridge. You didn't play
Playing
sets.
5 aside.
No, 3 aside.
Oh,
Right, okay.
Okay,
With monkey post.
And shoes as goalposts.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. So we have two gentlemen here who are going to tell us more about this. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Nelson Ine, Executive Director, GTI Asset Management and Trust Limited. Good morning.
Good morning, Alero. Good morning.
We also have Mr. Tunji Karim, Fund Manager at GTI Asset Management Limited. Good morning.
Madam. Good morning.
And thank you very much for joining us. What exactly is this all about? You want to sell us some shares or whatever, what do you call it?
Financial
Instrument,
yeah.
for us to buy so that you can raise money for football.
Yes, and for the sports
Explain it better to us, please.
Okay, the Nigerian Football Fund is targeted towards raising funds to intervene in the sports business, in football, and by extension, the sports sector. So meaning that once this fund is raised, apart from us just developing the football, other sports can also access the fund. And the initial offering is 5 billion, but our expectations is far, far beyond 5 billion because it's an open-ended fund. So we expect that we are going to be focusing on the sports business and not the other aspect of it, because sports is big business all over the world, as we can see, as is happening in other developed climes. Sports is big business, and that is what we are trying to achieve with this fund.
What role, Mr. Kazim, would this fund be? Mr. Karim, apologies, be playing in our sports development? Is this strictly football, or is it sports, as he mentioned?
Okay, thank you so much. The fund is not actually meant for football alone. It is for the entire sport. But we have a entry strategy that I call it, because every nation has the sports they embrace that is popular with them. So in Nigeria here, I think football is more popular, and that is why we have used that name as an entry strategy. Okay. And it's going to serve the football and other sports in
So strictly
activities.
speaking, it's a sports fund?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So what other sports do you have in mind that may come in later?
All sports that Nigeria are participating in.
Athletics.
You have, yes, basketball, table tennis, lawn tennis, all sports events, golf, everything.
You just tantalized someone here by mentioning tennis at all. Now, is someone exposed? How can people be a part of this, Mr. Ine?
Yes, actually what we expect is Nigerians to participate by subscribing for this fund. And like I said, it's actually an investment fund. It's not donation, it's not grant. And we expect that once you invest in this fund, our target is the sports business. And if you look at sports business, football has its own business component, basketball volleyball, tennis, like you said, even boxing, all of them. So what we are trying to do, and professional sports is more related to sports business. So what we are trying to do with this fund is target that area of our sports that can generate a lot of revenue. And we know that we have the capacity to deliver that. We have the market, we have the passion, we have the talent, and what we only need to do is complement what is currently on ground with this fund to ensure there's liquidity in the system and there's also stability for growth in the system.
Well, how will people, I mean, so this subscription is like an investment, right?
Yes, an investment for individuals, corporate organizations, private, public, everyone, both even Nigerians in diasporas, foreign investors, to invest in the fund. Because Nigerian sports market is a huge market in terms of population. We have a very strong youth, we have a very large youth population in this country. Apart from that youth population, Nigeria has a lot of talents that are gifted sports-wise. And if you look at the last Olympics, you discover that athletes of Nigerian descent that represented other countries won even more medals than the one won by Nigeria. That is just to tell you the capacity we have home. And what is required is for us to improve our infrastructure, create a good incentive environment to actually motivate them to give up their best, and to ensure there's some reasonable stability, there's some reasonable liquidity and stability in the system to enable us retain our local talents. And you can see that even the music and the movie industry is already giving us a direction of what the sports sector can achieve. And all over the world, sports business is bigger than music and movie all over the world. All the developed countries where even the movie and the music industry is thriving so much, the sports component of the entertainment industry is always far bigger in revenue, in turnover, in size, or whatever parameters you want to use in assessing it. And Nigeria already has that capacity to do it, because we're already kind of servicing foreign sports leagues. With the kind, if you look at it, you see the subscription we pay, you see the demand and the passion that goes along with it.
So anyway, we're not kind of, we are.
So you see, so what we are saying is, it is now time for us to look inwards and bring those investments inwards and develop our local sports.
Okay.
And if you recall, the only time the Nigerian team, National Super Eagles, was very strong, many of those players were developed locally. And our league was so strong that it was not also very easy for even the foreign base to have a stroll into the team. And if you look at many of them then, most of them migrated from here into the first teams abroad, right from the Nigerian league. They had a first place, team place in those teams, and they won quite a lot of laurels even at that level. So meaning that even before they actually left the shores of Nigeria, they were already at par in terms of performance and quality, in line with what was obtainable at the international level.
Mr. Karim, pardon my ignorance. You say that this thing is an investment.
Correct.
So how exactly are you going to manage it such that it will yield returns to the investor?
Okay, thank you very much.
And not have political misinterpretation.
Ziggy-zaga.
Okay. First and foremost, the fund is into two sides. The infrastructural side and the human development side of it. In terms of management, we have other stakeholders. We have the trustees, we have the custodian, we have the registrar. Then, above all, the fund itself has its own coverage, which is going to be investing in sports assets, basically. And at least over 70% of that will go into sports assets, while the remaining one will be in the fixed income. In terms of mingling it with political, there's nothing like that. And that is why it becomes a fund that has a committee to manage it, which involves the trustees, the custodian, the registrar as well. We equally have accountants to the fund. So the fund is going to is a standalone on its own, and there's no any external interference.
Any conversations or handshake with the NFF?
Yes, the fund is endorsed by the Nigerian Football Federation, and we've also had a lot of consultations with those in the public sector currently managing our sports, and they're all quite excited about this fund because the way the fund is structured and the way it's going to be managed with a lot of good corporate governance structures in place, a lot of financial disciplines and due diligence that is expected to be applied in the deployment of these funds and even raising of the funds. And moreover, let me also emphasize that this fund is regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So it is a fund that is properly regulated that actually will be deployed to achieve the set objectives of the fund without undue interference from the kind of probably the kind of fears people have.
When does it open?
It's already launched and open to the public.
Oh.
So you can always go to the website, the Nigerian Football Fund website, tnff.gti.com.ng.
Okay.
One moment, please.
So the website again, and please slow down.
tnff.gti.com.ng. Once you access the website, you can get all information, download the subscription form, fill the form, and submit. Alternatively, you can call us on our telephone numbers 090-8299 090-8299-9291. Or you can visit us at our office, number 4, Tinumbu Street on Lagos Island. So, but once you get to the website, once you access the website, you get a whole lot of information from the website.
Okay, I'll just give you the site once again, tnff.gti.com.ng, tnf.gti.com.ng. But should you decide to reach them via telephone, the number on which you can reach them is 0908 299 9291.
Okay, that's the website.
0908 299 9291.
So that's the website on the screen now.
Yes.
Start investing now. Okay, tell us about this football economy, Mr. Karim.
Okay. A football economy consists of football and the other sporting activities. Measurable statistical term, and which is measurable in statistical term and can be measured as a component of the GDP. So the football economy implies that you are looking at all those sporting activities, like we have mentioned, football, other sports like volleyball, basketball, table tennis, lawn tennis, all of them coming together. So they form the football economy. And there are values there, which means that if you go outside the shore of this country, you see a lot of, especially in Europe, America, the sporting industry contribute a lot into the GDP, and they raise a lot of money from there. So which we can replicate same here, and that is the essence of having the TNFF, bringing the TNFF on board to ensure that we develop the economy better.
Mr. Karim, how is this going to help the young boy, for instance, who lives in Mushi, who is dreaming of becoming a Kano Anchor tomorrow?
Okay, thank you. That's one will come under, when I spoke about human capital development, it will surely come under the talent hunt scheme, where we go to the grassroots, partner with the stakeholders there, then discover all these talents, bring them on board, and if which as time they progress, they migrate from one local club to another through that career progression to the next stage, and they come to the international limelight. Then in terms of infrastructure development, because that is going to come along with it, so to ensure that they are able to meet up with that to that sellable point in quote, where when they are discovered, then people can actually come for them, buy their talent, export those talents abroad.
I'm still on that football economy thing.
Yes.
Perhaps you may want to speak more on the value chain effects across the other sectors that will generate return on investment.
Okay, fine. On the football economy, again, one of the things I should also add to what he has said is that the fund is also focusing on, by extension, to the music and movie industry to also provide some kind of support there to grow the economy. And our target is to ensure that this football economy contributes significantly to the gross domestic product, just like is expected, just like you have in other developed countries, where the sports economy contributes about 1 to 2%, sometimes 3% to the gross domestic product. And we expect that that with this, when the football economy is very vibrant, given the fact that funding is very important in all these things we have been discussing, without funding, you can't really achieve all these objectives. So once the football economy is very vibrant, it is going to have a spillover effect on other sectors of the economy,
such as
tourism, merchandising, even transportation, the aviation industry, and other transportation value chain. In fact, all sectors of the economy is going to create a lot of jobs for even a lot of the youths. We are talking of youth restiveness in the country now. One way to engage all these youths is to actively engage them with sports. I think I saw a documentary earlier when this program started on Delta State, and we saw what sports had been able to impact in the life of all those young athletes. But also, this fund is also going to be a complement to all the existing sport activities we have now. But I'll tell you the truth. To focus on the sports business aspect of it, it requires a lot of funding in terms of improving the existing infrastructures we have, in terms of providing the appropriate technology to drive all these activities, and in terms of a lot of training in the development of the human capital that is involved. If you find that the sports industry is not only about the talent, the human capital also dovetails to the technical officials, the coaching crew, and all the technical people.
You know, there are so many other questions that I would have loved to ask. When do I start getting return on my investment? Don't answer that question yet. And so many other questions.
Please let him answer that question.
Will I get the answer on the website?
Yes. Yes. Now, you see, once you invest, it's an open-ended fund, meaning it's not limited to even the 5 billion we are raising now. We expect to raise hundreds of billions over time. But annually, based on the revenue generated, a percentage of those revenue is paid out to investors. That is one aspect of the returns on investment. There's also the other aspect that has to do with the growth. Sports properties grow over time. As it's growing, the value of the investment is also growing. Okay. But in addition to those two, which are the quantitative benefits, the qualitative benefits of this fund is even far bigger in terms of the socio-economic impact of this fund to the sports ecosystem and to the society at large. Even your station is also going to benefit from this fund.
I like that part.
I think that my partner is going to invest.
Yes.
Mr. Nelson Ine, Executive Director, GTI Asset Management and Trust Limited, as well as Mr. Tunji Karim, Fund Manager, GTI Asset Management. Thank you very much for coming to tell us about the Football Trust Fund, which incidentally is not going to deal with only football. It's just a name. That is the name of the fund. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And we wish you all the best. You are so certain that you're going to be raising more than 5 billion. So let us know as you go along then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sunrise will be right back with another interesting conversation. Please join us shortly.